Welcome back, everyone, to Neopyramidology. Today, we're exploring one of the most elegant discoveries in the entire project, the Sneferu golden chain. Sneferu was the first king of the 4th dynasty and the father of Khufu, grandfather of Khafre. During his reign, the pyramids didn't just get bigger and more sophisticated, they started growing according to a precise geometric pattern. This pattern is what I call the Sneferu golden chain. Today we're going to break down how this method works, why it's so significant, and highlight some key moments. The method is surprisingly simple. You start with a square base. You take half the base, bisect it, swing an arc from the midpoint to the opposite corner, and extend that half base by the golden ratio phi, 1.618. Then you add that extended length back to the original half base. This creates a new, larger base, and you repeat the process. This rope and stake method produces perfect golden ratio growth at every step. Let's look at the chain. It begins with Kaaba at approximately 160 cubits. Now take half the base, bisect it, swing an arc from the midpoint to the opposite corner, and extend that half base by the golden ratio. Add that extended length back to the original half base, and you have 210 cubits, half the base of the Red Pyramid. Which asks the question, was the Red Pyramid originally supposed to have been half the size? Take half the base of the red, approximately 210 cubits. Now take half the base, bisect it, swing an arc from the midpoint to the opposite corner, and extend that half base by the golden ratio. Add that extended length back to the original half base, and you have 275 cubits, the base of the Medun Pyramid. Take the base of the Medun Pyramid, approximately 275 cubits. Now take half the base, bisect it, swing an arc from the midpoint to the opposite corner, and extend that half base by the golden ratio. Add that extended length back to the original half base, and you have 360 cubits, the lower base of the bent pyramid. Take the lower base of the bent pyramid, approximately 360 cubits. Now take half the base, bisect it, swing an arc from the midpoint to the opposite corner, and extend that half base by the golden ratio. Add that extended length back to the original half base, and you have 472 cubits, twice the upper base of the bent pyramid. Take twice the upper base of the bent pyramid, approximately 472 cubits. Now take that number as the base, bisect it, swing an arc from the midpoint to the opposite corner, and extend that half base by the golden ratio. Add that extended length back to the original half base, and you have 618 cubits. Again, linking the chain to the golden ratio. Take the approximately 618 cubits. Now take that as the base, bisect it, swing an arc from the midpoint to the opposite corner, and extend that half base by the golden ratio. Add that extended length back to the original half base, and you have 809 cubits, the perimeter of Djedefre's pyramid. Why does this matter? Sneferu created a ritual growth system, expanding the king's symbolic body in perfect geometric harmony, step by step, like Khnum on the potter's wheel. The Sneferu golden chain is one of the strongest pieces of evidence that the pyramids were ritual machines, not simply just tombs. This is still early in the These series, but the golden chain is one of the central pillars that ties everything together. Let me know in the comments, does the golden chain idea make sense to you? If you're enjoying this, hit like and subscribe. We're uncovering something special here. Join us next time on Neopyramidology.
Welcome back to Neopyramidology. Today we're diving into one of the most powerful discoveries in this entire project, the Osiris clock. The ancient Egyptians had a very specific ritual timeline for preparing a pharaoh for the afterlife. The process was a sacred 70-day ritual performed by skilled priest embalmers to preserve the body for the soul's eternal journey in the afterlife. It began with a ritual washing in sacred Nile waters, followed by the delicate extraction of the brain through the nostrils using fine hooked instruments, which was then discarded as unnecessary, while a precise incision on the left abdomen allowed the careful removal of the lungs, liver, stomach, and intestines. These organs were cleansed, dried, and placed in ornate canopic jars protected by the 4 sons of Horus, leaving the heart untouched as the seat of intelligence and emotion. The body cavity was rinsed with palm wine and fragrant spices before being packed and fully covered in natron, a natural desert salt, for about 40 days to draw out all moisture and halt decay. Once desiccated, the form was washed again, anointed with precious oils and resins to restore suppleness, gently stuffed with linen, sawdust, or herbs to regain its lifelike shape, and meticulously wrapped in multiple overlapping layers of fine linen bandages, each turn embedding protective amulets and sacred spells, before receiving a painted or gilded mask and placement within nested coffins for eternal rest. The full mummification and burial process took 70 days. 70 days times 24 hours equals exactly 1,680 hours. This number 1,680 doesn't appear once. It appears repeatedly in the early pyramids. Djoser's massive enclosure wall contains exactly 1,680 niches. The Red Pyramid, Sneferu's third pyramid, has a perimeter of exactly 1,680 cubits. So we have a beautiful repeating pattern. 70 days equals 1,680 hours, 1,680 niches, 1,680 cubit perimeter. This is what we call the Osiris clock, a built-in resurrection timer permanently encoded into the stone. Where else does this number show up? The bent pyramid has a dramatic 11.1-degree bend in its slope. The supplementary interior angle to that bend is 168.9 degrees, almost exactly 168 degrees, which is precisely 1/10 of our sacred Osiris clock number of 1,680. In one of our other videos, the Sneferu golden chain, we show how most of the 4th dynasty pyramids are linked in size. The 1,680 cubit perimeter of the Red Pyramid is proportionally linked to the Bent and Meidun pyramids using the golden chain. Why does this matter? Because it strongly suggests the pyramids were not just tombs. They were ritual resurrection engines, designed with ceremonial ritual numbers and advanced mathematical concepts to help the pharaoh complete the 70-day transformation into an Akh, a glorified eternal spirit capable of becoming one with Ra in the sky. Let me know in the comments, does the Osiris clock idea make sense to you? Should I go deeper into how it connects with the Sneferu golden chain and the 43,200 scalar? If you're enjoying Neopyramidology, please hit like and subscribe. We're uncovering something very special here. Welcome back, everyone. Today we're finishing the trilogy with the third and final pillar, the 43,200 scalar. This is a big one. The idea that the 2 largest pyramids at Giza together encode the actual size and shape of the Earth. First, what is 43,200? This scalar idea became well known thanks to authors Graham Hancock and Robert Bauval. It's exactly half of 86,400, the number of seconds in a day. However, because the Egyptians of the Old Kingdom didn't use seconds or minutes, this connection is usually disregarded by mainstream scholars. Yet we see that the very first 2 large pyramids, Djoser's and Sekhemkhet's, are almost exactly half the size of Khufu, giving them a direct link to the full 86,400 scalar. This becomes even more compelling when we consider modern DNA studies showing that approximately 20% of ancient Egyptian ancestry came from Sumerian-related populations, along with clear archaeological evidence of substantial trade and cultural exchange between Egypt and Sumeria as early as the Naqada Second period. Let's look at Khufu, the Great Pyramid. Its base perimeter is 1,760 royal cubits. Multiply that by 43,200 and you get 76,032,000 cubits, matching the Earth's equatorial circumference to within about 0.5%. Now look at Khafra, right beside it. Its base perimeter is 1,644 royal cubits. Multiply that by 43,200 and you get 71,020,800 cubits, matching the Earth's circumference at 23.4 degrees latitude to within about 1%. So, together, Khufu and Khafra give you the full equator and the exact latitude where the sun reaches its highest and lowest points every year. The ratio between Khufu and Khafra, 1,760 to 1,644, also mirrors the way the length of an Egyptian hour changed with the seasons. The ancient Egyptians divided both daylight and night into 12 temporal hours whose length varied throughout the year. At the equator, the hours were always equal, but at 23.4 degrees latitude, the length of each hour changed by almost exactly the same proportion as the difference between these two pyramids. Another beautiful confirmation that the builders were encoding the real movement of the sun. This is incredibly important for the pharaoh. In the pyramid texts, the king becomes Ra, the navigator of the sun. He needed to know the limits of the sun's path, the solstice extremes. Set and Horus holding the ladder in the texts may even represent these two limits. For example, utterance 478. Horus and Seth have come to you. They have made a ladder for you, so that you may ascend on it to the sky. Utterance 325. O king, you are this great star, the companion of Orion, who traverses the sky with Orion, who navigates the Duat with Osiris. And utterance 211. The king is Ra who has come forth from the horizon. The pyramids weren't just tombs. They were complete resurrection machines, built with mathematics, geometry, and astronomy to help the pharaoh become an eternal Akh. This is still early in the series, but these three pillars together form the core of everything we're uncovering. The Sneferu golden chain shows ritual growth. The Osiris clock shows the 70-day resurrection timer, and the 43,200 scalar shows the actual cosmic knowledge the king needed to navigate the sky. Let me know in the comments, which of the three pillars surprised you the most? Should I go deeper into how they all connect in the next video? If you're enjoying this series, please hit like and subscribe. We're just getting started. See you next time as we explore Neopyramidology.